Good morning and welcome to New Mexico Rising, your go-to lifestyle show for everything happening right now across the state. I'm Kayla and this week we've got this.
You know, I always say, just keep things kind of simple and relaxed. One thing rings true about great food. It always brings us together.
Probably one of the most impactful material objects of our nation is the automobile.
All that and more right here on New Mexico Rising.
Have you ever wondered what it takes to turn a classic story into something that feels fresh for a new generation? A Woman of Substance tells a story of Emma Harte, a woman who rises from humble beginnings to become one of the most powerful business figures of the 20th century. So joining us today are Jessica Reynolds and Brenda Blethyn, who play Emma at different stages of her remarkable life. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Hiya. Good, thank you.
All right, so for viewers who may not know the story, what is it about Emma Harte that has made a Woman of Substance such an enduring character for generations?
Well, it's a wonderful story of rags to riches, really, in a nutshell. A woman who rises from poverty against all the odds to become the richest woman in the world. And she's driven by a sense of justice and to get revenge on people who did her wrong. What she said.
And Jessica, we first meet Emma as a young woman with enormous ambition. What drew you to her, and what was the biggest challenge in bringing that version of Emma to life?
I think it's just such an inspiring story, and to have a period piece that is also from a working class woman's perspective is quite rare, and to see her kind of grow and evolve into this larger than life version of herself, like I can't imagine her ambitions were to be the richest woman in the world, but it happened for her. And I think that's because of the traumatic background and the difficult background that she comes from, and it just shows the strength of those communities and people from those backgrounds. So that was very alluring, yeah.
And Brenda, you play Emma after she's built this incredible empire. What do you enjoy most about stepping into such an iconic role?
The costumes. The makeup. After playing DCI Vera Stanhope for 14 years, it's quite nice to get out of the Mac and the hat and the grotty old house she lived in. But she's such an iconic character, and some people would say not particularly sympathetic. I often play sympathetic characters, so this was a bit of a diversion for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Even though you two are playing the same character at different ages, what conversations did the two of you have to make sure Emma felt like the same person throughout her journey?
Zero.
Okay.
I think like that there's such a distance between them, not only in age but also in experience. Like I think one of the biggest points is that she becomes a completely different person, and it's up for the audience to decide whether that's for the better or not.
And Emma refuses to accept the limitations society places on her. Why do you think her story still resonates with audiences today?
Because there's still a bit of a discrepancy between equal wages between men and women. I bet a female engineer doesn't get as much as a male engineer, and in lots of professions there's not equality, and there should be.
Hey, I want to thank you two for joining me today. A Woman of Substance is now available on BritBox. For more information and to learn more about the series, visit BritBox.com. Jessica, Brenda, I really want to thank you two for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Some people travel for the sights, some people travel for the food. Braun Strowman does both and usually orders enough for the whole table. The WWE Superstar is back for another season of Everything on the Menu, where he visits some of America's best food cities, meets local legends, and tries everything from neighborhood favorites to high-end dining spots. Joining us now is Braun Strowman. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Just living a dream, man. It truly is. It's unbelievable. I'm wrapping up this week's media tour here in New York, getting to talk to the beautiful faces in Albuquerque today. Man, The season is just unbelievable, man. It's truly cool to see the evolution of where we've gone from season 1 into season 2 with having the guest on the show. My production team in post-production did such an amazing job of filming this and editing it. It really, it makes you feel like you're part of that conversation. You're sitting at that table, you're breaking bread. And at the end of the day, that the idea of this whole show come about with this is my love for going out and taking people out to eat food, getting them to try new experiences in the culinary arts and walk of life, and just have fun. Food is a vessel to bring people together for, to get them together at the table for conversation. I had guests that I'd never met before, so I have new friends. So you're kindling relationships, you're catching up with old friends, you're falling in love. All centered around food. And why not do it with the biggest, baddest SOB on the planet? And you're looking at him right here with Braun Strowman every Friday night on USA Network. Life is absolutely awesome.
All right, this new season takes you to 12 different cities across the country. What were some of the places that really surprised you this time around?
Oh man, honestly, it's always evolving. I'm so excited. I mean, I'm 350 pounds. I didn't get this way by accident. So clearly I'm a foodie as hard as it is. So for me, my day-to-day life, I'm eating out of a Tupperware. I'm weighing out all my proteins, my carbohydrates to the gram. So at the end of all that, like I said, doing this for weeks on end and then getting to do everything on the menu is my escape as well. It's the ultimate cheat meal. It's getting out there. Not all calories are meant to be the best for your body, but some of them feed your soul. And I make sure I keep my soul fed. I make sure I keep this giant meat castle that I am fed, and then making memories and putting smiles on people's faces. At the end of the day, that's what I love doing. That's what I truly believe I was put on this earth to do, was to entertain and make people happy. And I'm enjoying and loving it along the way.
That's killer. When you spend years traveling for WWE, but the show gives you a chance to experience cities on a completely different way. What do you learn about a place when you sit down and just share a meal there?
It's really neat because how the format of the show, with doing the 2 restaurants every episode, and that first half of the show being the signature dish for that city, for that region, and shining a light, proverbial light, on some of these older restaurants that have been around. All those restaurants I do are 40, 50, 60, 70 years. And, some of them aren't up to date on their social media games and all this. So being able, and then knowing what we did in season 1 of having some of the highest, if not the highest, demo ratings in that 18 to 44, is now knowing that these generational restaurants are getting seen by the next generation. I've talked to people that went to some of these restaurants and they live in the town of it's been there for 6 years. I didn't even know this restaurant was here. So hearing those stories, seeing prime example, Beefy King in Orlando is a roast beef sandwich shop that I went to in season 1. It's been open for almost 60 years. Every time I've gone there since we did that episode there, you can't even get into the parking lot. Before I headed out to start all the crazy media tour and all this other stuff, getting ready season 2 premiere that just happened June 5th. Walked in and there was 4 people standing in line that had saw the rerun of the episode the night before. We're in Orlando on vacation. We're like, we have to go to BB King. I walk in, their eyes lit up. No way you're here. They ordered my custom sandwich on it that they put on the menu. So it's really cool to see this resonating with the fans and continuing that buzz and, helping breathe life into some of these restaurants that have been around for a long time that aren't forgotten, but just somewhat aren't, the forefront of the food scene. And then the other half of the restaurant where I go in and do everything on the menu, that's where, you get this opportunity. These restaurants have this opportunity to show their full Rolodex to all the clientele and customers and foodies alike out there. And while all the great food shows that have been before me and stuff like that, you've got to see a little bit of here and there, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 dishes. So with being everything on the menu and seeing this whole, here's my cards, here's what this restaurant has to offer. And then sitting down now, season 2, having a guest with me and being able to have the debates back and forth. What do you taste in this? How do you understand? What is your palate telling you? And then with mine as well. And then having the conversation, talking about life and everything else in between. And it just makes for, all honesty, I wish the show was longer. I think 30 minutes isn't enough.
The season features a pretty incredible mix of guests, from comedians to musicians to athletes and fellow WWE stars. And hopefully next season you bring in bad TV hosts of local TV shows. I'd be happy to have lunch with you.
Everybody likes to eat. Let's go. And don't put yourself down. We don't do that. Lift yourself up. You're a great TV host.
All right. Who else brought the most unexpected energy to the table?
Oh my goodness. Without telling too much, because you got to tune in live every week to watch, I can't be giving away too much. Honestly, it was special every episode. It's so cool because I had so many different walks of life and hearing people's stories and their backstories and what's got them to where they are, what continues to keep them pushing and evolving, and then what their love is for food. It was so cool to see people, starting to understand, or some of the guests that I had, I didn't know they were such foodies. So it's really cool to sit there and have that conversation, because that's the fun thing about food is everybody, it's a little different to everyone, and it's having that opportunity to have that conversation. And like I said, that food is the whole reason that it brings people together. So why not celebrate and eat everything on the menu?
Excellent. After visiting all these restaurants and meeting the people behind them, what do you hope viewers take away from the show just beyond, just getting hungry watching you eat?
I think the biggest thing for me is trying to get people to step outside their normal comfort zone in their foods. I've discovered my motto in life is I'll try anything twice to make sure I don't like it, especially in the food space. So there's not much at this point that I haven't consumed in my life. That was the blessing that I had with being a WWE superstar for 12 years, traveling all around the world, getting to try so many different walks of life in the culinary space and falling in love with the different cooking techniques and the fusions and the ingredients and all that. And now with everything on the menu, almost every episode, I'm pretty sure, if not, it was few and far between, but I got the guests to try foods that they'd never tried before. So I'm hoping with my blue collar approach, and I'm not educated in the culinary arts. I've just been blessed to travel around and get to eat a lot. I mean, 350 pounds didn't happen by accident. And I guess the Lord blessed me with this giant tongue with a bunch of extra taste buds or something like that. I don't know. But that just being said, man, life's so cool, man. It's really neat. Like I said, getting to catch up with some of my friends, get to meet these new personalities and share bread and just talk about life. It just makes for a good time.
Braun, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. For more information and to catch new episodes of Everything on the Menu, check it out Friday nights on USA Network or head to usanetwork.com. Braun Strowman, thanks for hanging out with me, my friend. Ever wonder what happens when family, business, and real life all collide in front of a television audience? The latest season of the McBee Dynasty follows one family as they deal with major challenges on the farm, growing families, and some big decisions about the future. Joining us today are Cole McBee and Casey Adkison from Bravo's The McBee Dynasty, Real American Cowboys. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Doing good. Thank you for having us on today.
All right, for people who may have just been discovering the show, what have surprised viewers most about life on the farm and everything your family is pretty much juggling?
Oh, I would say for my family specifically, it's probably about how much drama we have on this show. I mean, we're 4 brothers, and the amount of drama is absolutely insane. But also, last few years has been probably the toughest years of our life. We've been going through the most problems, and obviously my dad's situation has been a really tough year. So just get to see us in our toughest time, I'd say.
And Cole, this season shows you balancing fatherhood, family responsibilities, and the future of the business. What has that experience been like for you personally?
It's definitely been, it's been a lot. It's been a lot of weight on my shoulders, but I definitely would not be able to get through it and be able to do this without Kacie, without Blair, without my family. They're the reason, they're my reason every day. And they're the reason I get up, and the reason I'm able to keep going, I guess, and keep pushing through and deal with all the stuff and deal with all the problems while doing this is just because I want to give my family, I want to give my kid and my future kid a better life. And I guess, I don't know, that's just how we keep going and get through all these problems, is we do it for each other and for our family.
And Kacie, you're raising a young family while also growing your own business. What have you learned about balancing those two worlds?
It's not easy. And whenever you commit to something like a business, you have to go full in. And I was trying at first to do it out of my kitchen. And then we realized, you know what, that's not going to work. I can't run a business out of my home with my little baby running around. But my child is also my reason behind my business. And I want to just have a successful business and just provide a certain type of lifestyle for her. So, yeah.
And one thing that stands out about the series is that viewers get to see both the business side and your personal side of your lives. Was there a moment this season that was especially difficult or maybe even rewarding to share on camera?
Obviously, with my dad's situation, I mean, we filmed the day of, the day before, the day after. We filmed every single day through that week. And watching your dad get sentenced to prison, which I know people have gone through this and gone through much worse, but it's not fun to go through. It's not easy to go through. It's something that's pretty tough. So that would be I don't think that'll be too much fun to watch back just because we're moving on from that and we've been moving on from that. But I still think that's pretty, that's a lot for a family to put out there. And we definitely put it all out there. So I just hope people, show some respect to the fact that we're going through the toughest part of our life and we just wanted to put it all out there for people to see. And when we started this show years ago, that was the one thing we all agreed on. We're like, hey, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it. We're going to put it all out there. We're going to show 100% of everything. We're going to be authentic. And that's exactly what we've been. Probably shown a little too much. Probably should have calmed down a little bit in the past seasons or not been so authentic. But that's just who we are. And we're just an open book. So we put it all out there and we'll just see how it goes.
Also, with so much changing for the family, what do you hope viewers take away from this season of the McBee Dynasty?
All right. I would say, I just hope people see, I've been saying this a lot, but to see a family that was going through a tough issue and going through problems, but they stuck together and they grew closer. They got closer as they've ever been in their whole life. And that was the only reason they were able to get through it, was that no matter what's going on in the world, no matter what people were saying about us, no matter what Facebook was saying, we kept our nose to the grind and we stuck together as a family and we're getting through this. And I guess what I would want people to know.
All right, if anybody at home would like to catch up on everything happening with the McBee family, you can watch the McBee Dynasty Real American Cowboys on Bravo, with episodes also available on Peacock. Cole, Casey, I really want to thank you two for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to bring out one of the most beloved family stories ever told to a new generation? Little House on the Prairie is now streaming on Netflix, introducing the Ingalls family to longtime fans and first-time viewers alike. Today, we're joined by Luke Bracey and Crosby Fitzgerald, who play Charles and Caroline Ingalls. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Very well. Thanks for having us.
I'm doing great. My mom was a huge fan of Little House on the Prairie, so I just grew up watching all of the old shows. And it has meant so much to generations of readers and viewers. What was your first reaction when you found out that you'd be playing Charles and Caroline Ingalls?
Oh, I sort of screamed and cried, I think. Yeah, it's daunting, but it was extremely exciting because I love the scripts and I really trusted the creators of the show and was ready to sort of take on this new approach to the literature.
Yeah, I was thrilled to play this character of Charles because I just saw kind of a wonderful story and a good man. And I think the world needs nice stories about people trying to be good people and trying their best in a hard world and realizing that they need their family and they need their community. And, that was the real thrill for me when it came to this job. It's a nice story about people trying their best and not always succeeding and not being perfect. I just thought that was a wonderful opportunity and a wonderful story to have the privilege of being a part of.
And this series honors the original stories while creating something fresh for today's audience. How did each of you guys approach making these iconic characters your own?
I think, I wanted to honor what was in the books and kind of what we know of Caroline vaguely, but I also was really excited to sort of see her as a human who is flawed and complex and, it has a lot of room to grow. And that's what I loved about the script, I think. And there was a lot in the script that I got to play with, I think, in learning about Caroline as a full person who's, a wife and a mother is just two of the many things that she is. And I love how the script did that in these stories.
And one of the things people have always loved about Little House on the Prairie is that it celebrates family while never shying away from the realities of frontier life. What do you think audiences will connect with most in this new adaptation?
I think they might connect with the fact that life's always been difficult. Life's difficult now, and life was difficult then, and life's going to be difficult in the future. But if you've got good people around you and you're trying to be a good person, you've got good kind of core of people helping each other, be that family or community or friends or whatever it is, that's where you really succeed in life rather than just doing it yourself. No one really makes it by just doing it themselves. I think that might be something that people take from it. It takes a village to get far in life. It's really hard to just be a one-man band and try and break through the realities of the world, which are that there's things that are going to come and try and drag you down. And without other people around you, you won't get through them.
And whether someone grew up with the books or the original television series, or experience Little House on the Prairie for the very first time. What do you hope they take away from this version?
I think it's such a great, it takes a greater view of the prairie and of the frontier. I think that's what's really excited about our series. And I don't know, there is something timeless about looking at history through the eyes of a child. Because we have children all the time that are experiencing life now, and it will one day be history. And I think it's really important to see, history in sort of through the lens of a child in a sort of an aspirational way that we can all kind of learn from.
Yeah, there's hope there, right? Yeah. There's hope that even though life is tough, it can be you can make it through the tough times. I think that's what children always have. They can see that life might be hard, but they always see out the other side of it somehow.
They have to.
They have to.
Hey, I want to thank you two for joining me today. Little House on the Prairie is available now to stream on Netflix. Luke, Bracey, Crosby, Fitzgerald, I want to thank you two for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having us. Good to talk to you.
Have you ever thought about how a car can become part of American history? As the country celebrates its 250th anniversary, a new exhibit showcases some of the vehicles that have helped shape the nation. Joining us is Casey Maxon, Director of Heritage at Hagerty Drivers Foundation. Welcome to the show, Casey. How are you?
I'm great. I'm glad to be here.
So what is Driving America Forward, and what can visitors expect when they experience it?
This is a really innovative exhibition that Ford's put on to celebrate America's 250th birthday. It's, the country's turning 250 years old, and for virtually half of that history, we've had automobiles on the road, and many of them are Fords. And so come on down to Washington, D.C., here at Union Station, where there's kind of a takeover of different Ford vehicles from all different eras that showcase everything from pop culture to motorsports and even how America answered the call to serve.
Why is this the right moment to tell the story of America's history through these historic vehicles?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a momentous time right now, the 4th of July coming up, our nation's birthday, and really probably one of the most impactful material objects of our nation is the automobile. It transformed every aspect of American life. It transformed industry, how our houses were built, where our roadways were constructed, how our cities were laid out. The automobile is an incredible, important part of American heritage and culture. And so as we look back at our past and we celebrate the future of the country, learning about how the automobile was part of that is really cool. And frankly, the automobile kind of knits us together in a way that no other object can. I mean, America loves a road trip. We love getting out there, experiencing some of these cars. It's a lot of fun.
Is there one vehicle in the exhibit that you think everyone needs to see?
Well, certainly there's a number that people should check out, but one that I'm really excited about is a 1965 Mustang that was part of the World's Fair. In 1964, Ford unveiled the Mustang in kind of a really incredible way. They had a ride at the World's Fair that was co-presented with Disney, where they had a number of different vehicles, including the brand new Mustang, that you could get in as a spectator to that exhibition and ride through all these animatronic dinosaurs with cavemen and learn all about the future as we thought it might be in the 1960s. And this Mustang that is on display here was in that ride, and people got to actually ride in it. It's estimated that maybe 40,000 people rode in that Mustang at the World's Fair. And we actually just put that on the National Historic Vehicle Register, and it's going to be documented in the Library of Congress.
You've helped preserve some of America's most important automobiles. Do you have a favorite artifact or vehicle in this collection?
Yeah, outside of the Mustang, another one that's here on display is a 1927 Model T. So the Model T is really what put America on wheels. Ford's innovative assembly line put more Americans behind the wheel than any other car at the time. And this Model T that's here on display is the 15 millionth. It was the last Model T built. And we documented it. The Hagerty Drivers Foundation documented that for the National Historic Vehicle Register a handful of years ago. And so its story will live on. But it's a really important moment in American history as we look to this great celebration. And so that's one to definitely check out.
And with so many people traveling for the summer, why should families make this exhibit part of their trip?
It's a great way to beat the heat. It's very warm here in D.C. So if you're coming out for the 4th of July to experience the museums and American heritage here in D.C., this is a great free public exhibition. It's America's front door coming into Union Station. So it's easy to get to. It's free. There's a lot of fun things that they can do when they check out these cars. So yeah, come on down.
This exhibit looks back at history, but what do you hope visitors take away about the future of the automobile?
It's that same joy and passion we have for mobility. Ford has been innovated over the past, basically over a century. And so there's a lot of that going into the future, whether it's racing or personal mobility. There's a lot of cool stuff that people can experience.
All right, where can we go for more information?
Check out Ford from the Road. You can also follow along on social. Haggerty Drivers Foundation, we're going to be providing some coverage as well on both Instagram and Facebook. Haggerty's Facebook channels and that Ford from the Road blog is a great place to find more.
Casey, I really want to thank you for joining me today.
Excellent. Thanks for having us.
Who's ready to fire up the grill? With National Grilling Month underway, plenty of us are looking for ways to take our backyard cookouts up a notch. So joining us is Top Chef fan favorite, Food Network personality, and renowned pitmaster Michelle Wallace. Welcome to the show, Michelle. How are you?
I'm great, Dan. How you doing?
Glad to have you here. What are some of the most important ingredients for grilling success?
Yeah, I always say, just keep things kind of simple and relaxed. One thing rings true about great food. It always brings us together. Source great ingredients, don't rush things, and let the grill do the work.
If we're planning a cookout, what's the first menu item you recommend?
I always go for classics. Classic hot dog, the great organic hot dog beef from Applegate. They're made with 100% grass-fed, regeneratively sourced beef from farms using grazing practices that can have a positive impact on land. It's an easy choice when you're looking to serve a classic grilling favorite. They have great flavor, they're easy to grill, and they're always a hit. Applegate has everything from like turkey burgers to your more classic cookouts, all made with meat sourced from animals raised with no antibiotics ever.
What are some of your everyday or go-to essentials that every grill master should have on hand?
Yeah, I think you have to keep your cookouts very well-rounded, and every grill master knows that the meat may draw the crowd, but the bun is the unsung hero of the cookout. Wonder Classic hamburger and hot dog buns have been a cookout favorite for over a century. Wonder buns are perfectly soft and yet sturdy enough to handle any toppings. I always throw them on the grill to get like a nice golden, crunchy exterior. It's so delicious.
So what are some easy ways to add bold, new flavors to our grilling this summer?
Yeah, I think adding flavors really do level up cookouts, right? And so Lead Come Key is my go-to for turning up the flavor on the grill. From marinades to glazes, these sauces really do bring a bold flavor to every cookout. They're known as the inventor of the oyster sauce, and their premium sauces are traditionally brewed for a balanced, delicious umami flavor that's perfect for marinades and glazes. I love this soy marinated skirt steak with ginger soy glaze. It's so tangy and so savory, and these shrimp skewers are perfect with this peanut soy drizzle. Both of these dishes are great ways to level up your summer cookout.
What are a few other tips to help make any backyard cookout a success?
Yeah, I always say don't forget about dessert. You got the grill going, go ahead and put dessert on the grill. Summertime is great for seasonal fruits like peaches and pineapple and watermelon. Glaze them with a little honey or even brown sugar. Grill them up, top them with some homemade vanilla ice cream, and it's a great sweet treat to end your cookout. And this really does show that you can cook all day on the grill from appetizers to dessert.
All right, where can we go for more information and maybe some recipes?
Yeah, for more information, please head over to tipsontv.com.
Chef Michelle Wallace, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Happy grilling.
And that's going to do it for this week's episode of New Mexico Rising. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next week on New Mexico Rising.